Music is one of the few universal joys in the world. It can be the soundtrack to a memory. It paints the emotions of the exact moment you're in. It can fill your ears on your morning commute. It can make thousands of little erector pili muscles make the hair on our arms and necks stand up. We have playlists that make us train at the gym longer, cry harder after a breakup, and pull us out of our deepest points. For some of us, it's just the music. Some it's the lyrics, but more often than anything, it is the memory or feeling that it evokes. They say most people keep the music taste they develop in their teens and early 20s because of how deeply we connect to that crazy, tumultuous time. Music is cultural. It is used in therapy. It can make us dance. Music is so uniquely special to everyone, and creating it is one of the times in my life I look back on more fondly than almost any other. But despite that, it was probably when my mental health was at its absolute worst. And yes, I realize this is a fitness podcast, but this isn't the first time I've touched on a subject that's a little more tangentially related than anything, and definitely not the first time I've talked about mental health. Episode 27, of course, being the biggest one on that subject. A lot of what we're covering today is how music impacts your mind, your mental health, and how your mood can impact the process of creating music. Neither of us are neuroscientists, but we are both two people with a deep love of music, long histories of creating it, and unfortunately two people who spiraled into deep depressions. But thankfully, we were able to channel that into creating music. Today's guest, Zach Evans, aka Almost Quincy, is still actively in that world creating music and has been since 2018. My untrained ear would call this electronic easy listening music, but he calls it ambient downtempo electronica. And I love that because it reminds me of when I was getting super technical about all the subgenres of metal and hardcore. He just recently dropped his second album, Blue Hour, with his first single being Valhalla. This is for fans of Jai Paul and Aphex Twins. And for anyone listening, today's Amazon gift card giveaway is going to be, well, obviously you got to DM me at Andrew PFM, but DM me what Zach says his favorite go-to sad song is. And as usual, my name is Andrew. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you are on YouTube, please leave a comment. Say hi to Zach. The algorithm loves comments. And without further ado, here's Zach Evans, aka Almost Quincy. Yeah, you guys just heard that new little intro song. And
Hell yeah, we did, baby.
Guess who's sitting right across from the man himself, Zach, who made it.
The man, the myth, the legend, AQ, Almost Quincy in the his house. What's good, everybody?
Zach, all Z's, no sleepy.
All Z's, no sleepy.
All Z's, no
you know
sleepy.
What the fuck it is. I can cuss, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, cool. Perfect. Just making sure.
Yeah. So like, you know, I've made music forever, and I remember I'm pretty sure it's the guy from 9 Inch Nails. It's like Trent Reznor or something.
Yeah, he's super cool.
So it's like he's a musician, but then he also does all this like scoring for like movies and stuff where it's like you don't think about those as like songs. And then was it Jason something in, oh god, it was that one movie he like falls out of love with, or no, she falls out of love with him, and then
Jason Segel.
Is it Jason Sudeikis?
If it's some romantic comedy, it's just Sudeikis or Segel. The two S's.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
so it's is it Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
I've never seen that.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it's Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and I think he makes jingles in that movie. Like that's his job, is he makes.
I think it's Jason Segel.
Okay,
I don't think it's Sudeikis. It could be neither. But.
Yeah, all I know is it's tall guy and whatever. Okay. But anyway, you know, essentially what you did was made me a jingle. What is that like versus making full songs?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question. For me, when someone asks me to make like a little piece of instrumental music, it definitely changed the way I do things. I think of a jingle as a drive-through. Like you're driving through, going to Taco Bell, you talk to the person at the register, and you're like, "Yo, I'm looking to get a jingle. Here's what I want." You get to the front of the line, you pay, you're good to go, and pops out. Something like a full service song is more like a steakhouse, restaurant, lots of little intricacies in the flavors and the vibes. So it just kind of depends.
I can dig that. That gotta make sense. Like
Yeah.
it takes a little more, and I mean, it's like I feel like I would think anyway, like a jingle. It's more or less just you're kind of capturing a brief vibe, a brief mood, where it's like, a coffee. It's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling good while I'm having this coffee. But
Mm,
it's like sometimes you can have a steak, and like a year later, you're like, man, that was a fucking great steak. Like
exactly.
I still know where I had the best steak of my life.
Exactly. It's all about understanding the assignment.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
I dig that. That was a good analogy.
Thank
So the whole time that I was like making music, there were different moods, different vibes, different outcomes, I guess, that I was
Mhm.
trying to find with making music. I'd put something into a song where it was like something specific I'm trying to. I'm either feeling in that moment or I'm trying to make someone else feel it.
Mhm.
Uh, I was making fucking metal and like hardcore music and stuff like that. You're a little bit more in the what is the genre that you call it? I say it in this intro, but
No,
what
no,
was
you're
it?
good. It's a pretty short genre, ambient, down tempo, electronica, ambient. So
Yeah, why would
yeah.
anybody not remember that?
No, yeah, I get it, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Put that.
what does that mean to you? Like what is that actual genre?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think genres and labels, as cringy as the sounds, are kind of stupid.
No, I agree.
Like it's all just labels and shit. But for me, like I'm super inspired by artists like Aphex Twin, who just absolutely I grew up on ambient music. There's a song called Number Three or Rhubarb by Aphex Twin that absolutely changed my entire life. Just absolutely so peaceful. And for me, I like to weave a little bit of ambiance vibes into all my songs. Maybe some pads, maybe some keys in the background, no matter how hard hitting the song may be. Because for me, sure, you can have lyrics all day, but when you have those chords, that chord structure, if it's in a major or minor keyed, if you have a certain reverb pedal, echo, delay, there's so many different things that can evoke emotions from people. And for me, that's what it's all about. So,
They just heard my dog crying right as you're talking about evocative music.
no, yeah, they love it. They love it.
Yeah,
Shout out Ham,
Ham's,
shout out
yeah,
Gravy.
shout out Ham and Gravy for sure. So with that one specific song that you just said by
Mhm.
Aphex Twins,
Aphex
what
Twin.
what was it about that song that like spoke to you so much?
I think there's certain songs that you hear for the first time that just immediately just hit you like a truck. And for me, the first time I heard that song, I just pulled so much meaning from it. Even though it has quite literally no lyrics, I just love the fact that you can hear like a beautiful pad or like a nature sample of a river or bird flying or bird tweeting, and it can just hit you in a certain way. Just it's very nostalgic because when you think about lyrics, you can pull different meanings from that, of course, based on your life experience. When you just have notes, chords, pianos, violins, all those things without lyrics, it really just makes it a whole different spectrum of things you can pull from it because there's no lyrics. You're just relating to the sounds rather than what somebody's personal experiences were.
That's a really good point. See, so I listen to I'm more of a lyric guy partially because I'm more of a poetry guy too. So like
Valid.
I love poetry. So that's I'm looking at even when don't tell my insurance agent this, but like even when I'm driving and stuff, when there's a new song, I'll pull the lyrics up on Spotify while I'm listening to it just to be like, okay, what's all going on in here. And that's not to say that there's not certain. It's not to say that there's not like certain song styles that like or just like vibes of a song that don't really speak to me. I mean, there's Bill Murray's new album. They have a song on there that is just I don't even know what the lyrics are that this girl says in this one part, but just the way that she harmonizes with herself.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my god.
You don't even have to know. That's the best part.
Yeah. Shout out Gabby Enrose.
Shout out Gabby Enrose.
Shout
one
out
time,
Gabby
two
Enrose
times.
for 2 times. Absolutely. Yeah, dude, just there's the man. Also, I just love female vocalists. Like when they
Oh,
can,
100%.
when they can really, really do it, it's so good.
100%.
Yeah. What's tell me about this new album.
So, new album, super hyped about it. It's called Blue Hour. Got
Dude,
a lot of really
all
cool.
the Quincinators are super hyped about it.
Shout out my Quincinator army. It's really been tough for me, Andrew, because ever since the album kind of leaked out a little bit,
Right.
that wasn't like the full representation of it. And for me, like I've just been berated by paparazzi ever since. I
Oh,
can't
no,
even
dude, I
walk
know.
outside.
Yeah.
I mean, all my love interests, Dua Lipa for one.
Yep.
She just keeps getting berated by TMZ, and
Yep,
really,
yep.
it's just like I don't have the time. But my Quincinators deserve to have the music, so I'm still gonna put it out regardless.
I dig it. I dig it. Man of the people. Man of the
I'll accept the
Quincinators.
fame. It
Yeah.
just comes with it, right?
Absolutely.
So, all jokes aside, I'm super hyped about
There's
it.
no jokes here.
No, absolutely not. Of course.
Yeah,
not.
like you literally you got here like 30 minutes late because there were so many fucking people trying to like get you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
what's this new fucking album, Zach?
It's
Come
tough.
on.
I mean, Andrew had to shut his curtains because teams
Yeah.
is just like sniping with their fucking
I'm on
cameras.
the 10th floor, but they were still gonna find their way up here.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Knocking people's doors across
That's
the
right.
hall. It is what it is, guys. But anything for my Quincinators.
Blue Hour.
Blue Hour. Blue Hour is first heard that term a few years ago. Absolutely loved it. People are more familiar with the term golden hour, which is like right when the sun's setting or like right when the sun is rising. But for me, I kind of gravitated more towards like when there's just enough blue in the sky to where you can like pick out people's faces and like see what people are doing. It's just really somber and peaceful for me when everyone just kind of settling down for the night or just getting up in the morning. That's what a lot of the songs on there evoke for me. That's really where the large amount of inspiration came from for that one. But 10 songs, there's some bangers, some ambient stuff on there. But I think what people will find, my Quincinators will find, is that this is definitely a large departure from the typical sound they found on my freshman album, Book Fair, which obviously was, Grammy nominated.
Right.
Didn't win it, but, Harry Styles,
Yeah.
he had to do what he had to do.
I know, dude. Them sushi restaurant songs.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
But super hyped about it. Love my Quincinators. Lots of cool new songs, sounds, everything. I really just built it from the ground up to be completely different from my first album. So super hyped.
So you said the general mood of it is just kind of this. I mean, I guess it is exactly like what you think of when Blue Hour. So Blue Hour, when I think about that, it is, it's this person walking to work by themselves. And there's actually an image that comes to mind when I think about it, and I'm sure it's in some big city like Tokyo or New York or something like that, and it's a person crossing a crosswalk and they're by themselves in it, and there's just this kind of blue line in the sky.
Love that.
And there's just this vibe of like loneliness, not necessarily loneliness, but
in a good way.
Being alone, that isolation, but not feeling isolated. What kind of position were you in when you were writing this, that is the album that comes up?
For me, I'm just kind of, as I grow older, I'm only 26, but I'm getting there. I'm kind of just processing like who's in my life and who I want to have in my life. And there's people come and go. And for me, there's some people that have left my life recently and come into my life as well. And for me, just reminding myself that everything can just ebb and flow and just accept the way things are. That's where a lot of like the feelings come from the entire album. I'm super hyped for people to listen to it, but a little more somber than my last album, but lots of bangers on there that you can still jam to. And I'm glad that you said that it already evokes emotions from you, because once you hear it, I hope it'll do the same for other people as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you're talking about these highs and lows that we experience. Usually there's certain songs that will attach those, like I've got there's this song by the 1975. So guys, we recorded a clip of it, or excuse me, we recorded this podcast before. As you can see, there's some lighting going on here, or maybe you can't tell, and I don't know, maybe that's a good thing if you can't tell that there's lighting. The lighting was so fucked up in the last one that I had to pay this man $20,000 just to take an hour out of his schedule to come and record a second take with me.
It's tough, and that's with my hashtag Quincy 2023 discount on the web store. So
yeah. But anyway, we were talking about happy songs, sad songs. The song, oh my god, I just lost it.
It's okay. What are you?
This part out? They're not even gonna know.
I think you should leave it in. We're all human. Are you talking about?
Oh my god, the cocaine song by the 1975. Oh, it's Ugh. Oh my god. I was gonna say what, and then I was like, no, it's not what. It's Ugh. That song is about doing cocaine, and it makes me so happy. I love that song. Like I don't know what it is. It's the vibe, just the intro, the boom, boom, boom,
such a classic. The entire album though.
Oh my god,
defined a generation. Let's be honest.
Fucking incredible. It's so good, and like it makes me laugh that there are these, and we talked about this the last time too. There are these songs where it's the music and the lyrics are completely mismatched, and like I fucking love that. Like Bill Murray does that, and I think that's so Bilmuri, guys, not Bill Murray the actor, but like I love that they do that. But then there's also these like deeply, deeply sad songs for me. The one that I told you last time, the first song that I ever heard by Counterparts, The Disconnect. The outro is, I never thought that I would have to justify a reason to continue on in this life I live. I fucking hate the world. I fucking hate myself. I swore I'd never fucking live like this. That is so sad. It is so emo. My favorite band to this day is still Hawthorne Heights. What is your go-to happy song? What is your go-to sad song, and why?
First of all, great question. Second of all, what you were talking about just now reminds me of a song. There's a artist, I don't really listen to the song very much, but kind of reminds me of the lyrics you just said. It's a band called Daughters.
Wait, Daughter?
Daughters. Daughter is like the indie band.
Okay.
Daughters is like this super black metal, dark band.
Hell yeah, let's
check it
go.
out. They have a song called Satan in the Wait, and one of the lyrics is, some faces not even a mother can love. I don't know, that just always hit me.
Heavy stuff. Daughter is also incredible.
No, I agreed.
Youth
is fire.
Powerful song. Oh my God. Yeah, there was.
Let's be real, guys.
Oh my,
shout out
yeah.
Daughter.
Shout out Daughter. Yeah.
Daughters.
Dude, there's
shout out John Mayer Daughters.
Shout out John Mayer. Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's a man. Shout out Story So Far Daughters.
Yeah. Shout out my future daughter.
Yeah. Shout out my. Oh man. You know.
Wherever she's
I'll
at.
probably have a daughter.
Shout out my cat.
Shout out Gravy. She's a female. She's got children.
Shout out Corn.
She has daughters. She's also a daughter technically. Anyway. Fucking hell. So wait, that was your. Wait, no. Go to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can I finish? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Just kidding. So for me, honestly, I've been really, really trying to force myself to listen to happy music. And it's weird when you don't listen to music that reminds you about your past or the people you used to know. It makes you happier and puts you in a better mood. And no other fucking song does that more for me than Happy by Pharrell Williams.
That is so crazy because it's not a happy song.
I know. He made it in irony. Like there was an interview he did with Pitchfork where he's like, yeah, actually it's funny that's my most popular song. Like people think it's this happy thing. And it really is. The lyrics are happy, everything. But he made it when he was in this super depressive state in his life. And he's just making fun of people like, oh, I'm happy. Put your hands in the air. Like these people who have no worries in their lives. But still, I mean, it definitely gets my booty shaking. So,
oh yeah.
For me, a go-to sad song is probably Limousine by Brand New. This song absolutely sends shivers down my spine. It is definitely not one of those songs that you put on while you're cooking dinner, at the pool. Like this will scare the hose away for sure. 100%. But
this is like the song you put on the aux and then someone takes it away.
Yeah, it's like, get out of my car. Hinge date over.
Hinge date over.
Which happens to me all the time.
Shut the fuck up.
I've told you those stories.
No one's ever stood this man up.
No one stood me up, but
Hinge date's over because he gets bored. Hinge date's over because he finds out that they're an undercover Quincenator, just trying to fucking find out where he lives.
It's tough. That happens way too many times. It's really tough.
Ana de Armas isn't going to be happy if that keeps happening, bro.
It's Dua Lipa, Ana de Armas, but yeah. But the go-to sad
why
song.
is that? Why is it that song?
For me, I love songs that aren't passive listens. Like I think about horror movies, for example. They're not something you just put on for fun, right?
Right.
Like if you want to get high, smoke a joint, you're not going to put on The Conjuring, right?
Right.
You're going to put on SpongeBob or Mario or, some like lighthearted thing. But for me, a horror movie or a thriller is a very much an intentional watch that you're just trying to pull something out of and feel something. And for me, that's exactly what Limousine is. Limousine is a story about a young girl named Katie Flynn. She was driving to her birthday party in a limousine with her mom and her dad, and a drunk driver flew into them at like 90 to 100 miles per hour. And she, unfortunately passed away on impact, but her parents survived.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very sad song. So it's definitely not something you'd put on like in the background or anything, but it's a really beautiful story and just a really great reminder of just life, and just dealing with grief and like how her parents deal with grief and how even when you hear something that you're not even attached to or a part of, how you can still feel those emotions, I think is so beautiful. Like I never knew this person obviously, but the fact that the lyricist can still put me in those shoes and I can feel what those parents felt is just insane to me.
There's a similar song called, or like kind of that same general vibe of just like it's this very emotionally heavy song called Amber by Stick to Your Guns, and it's about this
Mm.
girl who killed herself. And like the lyrics are like, please make this go. I've had enough. Like all that kind of stuff. It's just really really heavy. Just this girl talking about how just profoundly depressed and like she just couldn't keep going, and like it's fuck man, like I think that was probably the first, like, don't get me wrong, like I was listening to Hawthorne Heights, and they literally have a lyric that is so cut my wrists and black my eyes. Like there's some sad boy stuff, but there wasn't anything that was like, this is an emo song for emo's sake. This is a true story about someone who was so depressed that they took their
Mm.
life. And I like that was woof, man. I think that was the first time that I ever really conceptualized something like that. And it was just like, fuck, man, like
Yeah.
it's crazy, dude.
Biographical songs are absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
What do you think about concept albums?
Uh,
I know that's a contentious topic among
so
musicians.
concept albums are cool. I do like concept albums if they're done well. Obviously, who doesn't like something that's done well? But for me, I have a confession.
All right.
I used to be a very big 21 Pilots stan.
That is really embarrassing. Do you want me to cut that out?
No. Please keep it in. I really need
Okay.
to show my truth.
Really airing
Speak
yourself
my
out here.
truth. And it was rough. They those motherfuckers had me by the balls a few years ago. They had an album called Trench, and it's about the lead singer going into this place called Dema, Dema, and there's like 9 bishops, and there's like an archbishop, and he's like defeating his demons and like all this crazy shit. There's like vultures, and everyone plays a character. He played a character called Clancy. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. That album was done really well.
Okay.
Like if you listen to it like front to back, that shit goes hard. Like lyrically, rhythmically, melodically, like the instrumentals in that go really hard. And like once you actually break down the lyrics, it's a real story there. And it's just like a book, right? Like if people are writing fiction, but also not just writing a story, you're also like adding instruments to it. You're adding visuals with music videos. So I do like them a lot if they're done well. And I think that one was done super well. So
Okay. I can
what
dig
about
that.
you? I will say though, it kind of can detract from an overall vision or aesthetic sometimes the artists go for. Like that album was completely different than anything they've ever made before. And like when people were like listening to their entire catalog and kind of throw them off a little bit,
Right.
I think that's cool. Just do that every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even say that Blue Hour, my album, is a concept album because a lot of the song titles are like, Blue Hour, 6 a.m. or Dawn, Sunset, things like that.
Right.
Just kind of bringing those emotions out. But I mean, what even is concept? Sorry, guys, we're getting deep over here.
One of my favorite concept albums is Deep Blue by Parkway Drive, and you can see that that guitar right there, the one that's
The blue one?
so the
Oh, the
one's right
Parkway
next.
Drive one.
Yeah,
That
was
makes
good.
sense.
So up at the top on the head of it, it says Deep Blue, and I'll post a picture of this guitar. There's I think like 500 of those in existence,
Whoa.
and I own one of them. It's either 500 or 2500, but I really like that album. I don't love that album, but I love what it represented, and I don't even want to like tell anybody or tell people what it is because I want them to actually look it up. But it's short version. There's this guy who falls and sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and there are some things that he has to like go through basically. But it's very much this it is this journey, so to speak, and it's a really really good album. I would also say that it is their last good album from cover to cover.
Okay.
Just front to back, still very good. And then their next album, it was like half of it. Next album, 2 or 3 songs. Next album, shit. But I'm still gonna see them when they come to Denver for their 20th anniversary, though.
That's such a good point too. When I think about artists, when they have like their freshman album or their sophomore album, like you're talking about Parkway Drive, for example. When artists make their freshman album, they have their entire life up until that point, like all their life experiences to put into that album,
Oh yeah.
then it's like, okay, they maybe have some leftovers from that album or their life experience to carry on to the sophomore album. But since they've already talked about their main kind of things they've dealt with in life, typically sophomore albums don't hit as hard. And like, okay, I have less life to talk about now.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting you brought that up, because I definitely, a lot of artists kind of suffer through that.
Yeah, that is a really good point too, because it's like, yeah, you've got these 20 years of stories to pull from, and then it's, you know, you release another album, you maybe got 2 or 3 years, and then you release another album, and it's like, I don't want to say life stagnates, but it's like you don't learn as many lessons as frequently as you get
100%.
later in life. So it's like
100%.
you can't just keep pumping out the same message, the same lesson, the same, you know, this and that, blah blah blah. So speaking of like music that you're trying to evoke feelings, I have specific songs when I'm trying to PR, like at the gym, and you know, this can be really anything, just like, but my go-to is Candor by Neck Deep, Chrono by The Ghost Inside. It's a song about growing older and just how fucking rough that can be, and The Disconnect by Counterparts, all for completely different reasons, but they all pull that heavily emotional feeling out of me that allows me to just be like, oh fuck, I'm gonna hit a PR at the gym today. So it's like I have songs that it's like, I want to use these to help me at the gym. I want to use these to, you know, get me in a really artistic mood. I want to use these to get me happy, sad, this, that. You know, there are songs that we listen to when we are sad because we want to feel more sad. Are there
crazy.
I know, it's so weird. Are there, I mean, obviously you've got your happy song, you've got your sad song. Are there any songs that you use as like, man, this is like a prerequisite to get me into like my flow state for music, or this gets me, you know, prepped for this or for that or anything like that? Like, are there any songs that you use specifically for a specific outcome?
Yeah, 100%. For me, like when I'm cooking dinner, I love listening to like Natalie Cole. Like it's from The Parent Trap. It's like, this will be an everlasting love. Like that shit goes hard.
Does it just make you feel like
It makes me want to make spaghetti.
Just gets you like big housewife vibes or something?
Oh, 100%. I'll put a fucking apron on. I'll put I don't know what
that's
I'll
all
put
you
clothes on. All I need is an apron, guys. All I need is a fucking apron. Just slinging around.
Oh,
just fucking meat on the table multiple ways. Sorry guys. I'm out of pocket today. Where's the pocket? But
Jesus.
100%. And like, of course, there's always those sad songs. Like, shout out Ed fucking Sheeran. This kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. His first album, he's talking about like, oh, I was in love. You know, I met this girl at university. She doesn't talk to me anymore. I moved to follow my dreams. I was busking, trying to make money. I was fucking homeless. Then the second album's like, I'm in love with the shape of you.
Oh, fuck,
and it's like, all right, man, it's fire, but like,
yeah, still good, but like you lost. Well, it's also that, you know, they haven't been poisoned by like the industry yet, so they haven't had all this creativity pulled. Because like, man, like the first full length album that I recorded, ooh, man, there are riffs on that album that I'm like, how the fuck did we write this?
The best feeling
How did
ever
we
when
write this
producing,
shit? It's
100%.
just, oh, dude, like you
play something, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah, I unashamedly still listen to this album that I wrote a decade ago.
You got to.
It's so fucking good.
Is it on Spotify?
Man. No, and honestly, I could post it on Spotify. It's a ASFSE. That's A Sight for Sore Eyes, Reno, RENO, NV, Nevada, at Bandcamp, or excuse me, .bandcamp.com. So ASFSE, Reno, NV, .bandcamp.com. You can listen to it for free there. Anybody, I'll toss it in the freaking like description or whatever, I guess. But I fucking love that album so much. Speaking of albums, we are going to close this out with one of your songs.
Hell yeah.
Maybe with two if you're cool with it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Tell me about these 1 and or 2 songs. What are they called? What are they about? What was it like writing them? Why?
Yeah.
Other questions.
100%. So I'm actually glad we re-recorded this because I feel like I finally am sounding exactly what I want to sound like. And I have a song called You. I know it's overused.
In love with the shape of?
No.
Oh.
No. That is a cover on the album though, but it's like a
yeah.
reggaeton cover.
Okay.
Music video. I'm like twerking and stuff, but No, it's called You. And it's my favorite song I've absolutely ever made. It's 6 minutes of pure just dance, down tempo, electronica ambient bliss. And I know it's like I'm joking, but like legitimately, this is my absolute favorite song I've ever made. And there's a few reasons for that. One, I really feel like I was able to work with some really awesome people throughout TikTok. I made some connections through there and talked to some people from New York for vocals and just really kind of creating a collaborative song and just the chord progressions and the bass lines and the strings and just the groove, the 4 on the 4 beat is just insane. Like I listened to it today, the final mix, and it legitimately sounds like nothing I've heard before.
Hmm.
So we're gonna close with that. And I hope you guys like it.
What is it called one more
It's
time?
called You.
It's called You.
Mhm.
Alrighty, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get to this song. But before we close this out, I do have to air myself out and say one of my favorite gym songs before I forget because this is so
Of
funny.
course, let's do it.
Is Maps by
Yeah.
Maroon 5, the Da Vinci remix. So there is an EDM version of this song that goes so fucking hard. I have PR'd all three of my best lifts ever were to this song, and I don't know why. But anyway, do you have any closing thoughts? Where do people find you if they want to find you? When's the album drop?
Album drops next week, next Friday. Super hyped. Can't wait for my Quincinators to hear it.
So next Friday, it'll be out by the time you guys are hearing this. Make
Yes.
sure you click the link below and or above on YouTube.
Absolutely. Check me out on SoundCloud, Almost Quincy, Instagram.
Oh yeah, where's the name come from?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's a great question.
Oh yeah.
So little ASMR. So hey guys, my name. So my name is Zach currently. Probably forever, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Going forward.
I'd hope.
But up until I was born, there were a few names that my mom and my dad couldn't decide on to name me. There was Reggie and there was Quincy.
Awful.
If I was named Reggie, I would have came out of the wound and hung myself with the umbilical cord.
I would have helped.
Yeah, I would have been like, all right, guys. It's just like you just spawn in a bad location. It's like, all right, guys.
You're just like, I want to
It's
try
like the
again.
worst spawn. But the most common thing they were talking about was my name was gonna be was almost Quincy. So I always thought it was cool that all the little things that lead us to all these moments. And for me, Quincy, if my name was Quincy, for example, I mean, in kindergarten, our first name dictated where we sat in kindergarten, right? Like
Yep.
who we sat next to,
Yeah.
and that could have been like my best friend or like my future wife,
Whoa.
shit like that. Or even the time it takes to say Quincy versus Zach or Zachary, those seconds add up, and it could have affected my life in multiple ways,
Yeah.
someone else's life in multiple ways.
Using a lot of air.
Yeah, and just reminds myself that you're always exactly where you're supposed to be. So
Man, I like that. I think people grow into their names too.
I agree. I'm definitely a Zach.
You are
though.
a Zach, and I
Definitely
feel
Zach.
like an Andrew. You know?
You're definitely an Andrew.
Hell yeah.
I can't see you as like a Kyle or a Josh.
I was almost
I've
Ryan.
gotten Josh once. Ryan.
I was almost Ryan.
I can see you as Ryan.
I can see Ryan
I can see
too.
Ryan.
But I'm glad it wasn't
Andrew
because
Fitz.
yeah. Like I don't want to be a Ryan. No offense to any Ryans out there. Just I don't want it. You know. I like
Shout
Andrew.
out Ryan Soderquist, who's my old boss. Maybe he's listening to this.
Hell yeah.
He's a
Shout out
he's a
Ryan,
OG.
whatever that last name was. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave a comment if you are on YouTube. It helps so fucking much. You
That
guys,
algorithm.
you have no fucking idea how much a few comments change it. And obviously, make sure to answer the question in the YouTube comments or in my DMs at Andrew PFM. What was the song that he said was his go-to sad boy song? And obviously, I'll be doing a giveaway on that. And I'll post the results the Sunday after. So, until next time, guys, my name is Andrew with Pride. We have got Zach, a.k.a. Almost Quincy. Where do they find you? On Instagram?
Find me at Zach Evans, ZachEvans. Yes, I paid $50 for that username in high school. You can find me at Almost Quincy on SoundCloud and Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, wherever you listen to music. Hit me up.
Hell yeah. All righty, guys. Well, until next time. See you later. That was so much better.
That was
so much better.
I'm an experienced podcaster now, so it was really.
Yeah, you got like hella fucking reps in.
Like you
that episode? You know you did, and you know you want to see some more. So, oh my God, you should click that subscribe button and then share it to someone else who wants to hear it. And then go find me on Instagram or TikTok or whatever at Andrew PFM and hit me with some questions of your own. So we'll see you guys there later.